Hey, it's Matt Frazier. Come on in, come on in. Today we're going to talk about you discovering or rediscovering your own psychic gift. Now, this is something that so many of you have asked me about again and again and again. And that is, Matt, can you learn to be psychic? Can you learn to be a medium? Can you learn to communicate with the other side? Well, here's a little secret. The secret is that you are already hardwired. You are already hardwired to receive information from the spirit world, to hear the spirit world, to connect with the spirit world, but in your own special way. You know, what might surprise you is that every psychic medium, every medium that you see on television, every medium that you see online, every medium that you may have gone and visited does one thing different than anyone else: connecting with the spirit world in their own way. Every psychic medium, myself included, has their own special way of tapping in, tuning in, and connecting with the other side. And the reason why I wanted to come on live with you and share this with you is that one of the funnest things that I see during readings, and one of the most fun that I have when I give a reading, is discovering how the person that I'm reading for is psychic, how they're connecting with the spirit world, how they're using their psychic gift, and in which way they are psychic. Now, before we jump into this, I first of all want to tell you this. The reason why this is so important is because I don't want you to compare yourself to other people. There's so many people that come to me and say, Matt, I wish I could be just like you. I'm a psychic, I'm a medium, but I want to be as good as you. I want to be just like you. Well, first of all, there is no such thing as being as good or better. We just receive our information differently. And if you can learn how to fine tune how you connect with spirit, how you tap in, the next thing you know, you will start receiving messages all on your own. So first of all, let's talk about this, okay? Because I want you to know that in my family, my grandmother had psychic ability. My mom had psychic ability, or has psychic ability, I should say. And me, I have psychic ability. We all grew up with psychic gifts. But what's interesting is that my grandmother, my mom, and myself all have uniquely different gifts. My mom reads completely differently and receives different information than I do. My grandmother, who was alive way back in the day, used to receive her information differently. And how is that different? Well, my grandmother used to receive omens and premonitions, right? Premonitions about the future, world events, people's lives. She would just see things before they happened. She would get flashes. That's how the information would come to her. And she also, at times, used to read cards. My mom can see things in tea leaves and coffee grinds. And my mom is really good at meditating on somebody and finding about them and their life and finding out fixes and how to heal. My mom is also really good at dreaming. You know, souls will come to her in dreams and share messages, share news about a baby being born, or share news about someone's health, or share news about something that my mom needs to see or hear and experience. And for me, it's always been different. For me, I've seen the departed in ways that I can't even understand, right? In ways that they appear, like, for example, I see shadows and silhouettes, and then I'll start to feel them. And the next thing you know, I go to see them on the outside, meaning that I'll see the shadow and silhouette. So next thing you know, they'll start appearing in my mind, and I'll see and sense and feel them. And then that's how the information comes in. Now, the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because you also are gifted. You also have a way to connect with your psychic ability. You have a way to reach the spirit world. And here's another secret I want you to know. Your loved ones, your angels, and your spirit guides are already talking to you. They're talking to you right now. Psychic ability is your own personal connection to connecting with the other side. And what I want you to know is that because we're souls that come from heaven, and because we return back to heaven, we're always connected with heaven. Think of it this way. Think about, for example, I'm Italian, right? I never, growing up, had been to Italy until I was until much later on in my teenage years. My parents actually brought us when we were older as kids. But even though I had never been to Italy, where my whole family was from, I can tell you, well, I should say my mom's side of the family, I can tell you that I always felt a connection to Italy. I always felt a connection to Italian people. I always felt a connection to Italy, right? That was my heritage. I was always linked back to there. Well, it's the same thing with your psychic ability. You're always linked to heaven. You're always linked to the afterlife. So because you have that link, it never goes away. And that's the reason why souls will tell me that we have this phone line within us. It's our birthright to be able to hear from our loved ones in spirit, sense and feel the spirit world, and connect with the other side. And knowing that this connection exists is just one of the ways that we can start to open up our own psychic ability. Now let's talk about this. Because how many of you, and I want to see in the comments, how many of you have grown up and maybe throughout your life you've seen something? Maybe it was as a child. Maybe you remember as a child seeing your first spirit, seeing your first apparition, seeing or feeling or sensing something that nobody else could. Maybe it was that you got a premonition or a warning. Maybe you knew something that you shouldn't. How many of you have had that experience. Now, how many of you as a child have had that experience and the next thing you know, it went away? I can't tell you how many people will write to me and reach out to me and say, Matt, I used to be psychic. I used to sense things. I used to feel things. There were things that used to come to me, but not anymore. I think I pushed it away. Well, there's no pushing away. It's always within you. You're always tuned in. You're always hardwired in. And what's so beautiful is that when you realize it and recognize that it's there, next thing you know, you can tap in at any time you want. And you can use your psychic ability for yourself, for others, and you can also use it to be able to help other people when they're going through life struggles as well. So let's talk all about this. I want to talk about some ways that you might be psychic that you may not have put together yet. And in the comments, let me know if this person is you. And by the way, I see some of you guys here right now on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. I see Shelly is here. I see Michelle is here. I also see that Sarah is here as well. And Courtney is here as well. And I also see Tobin is here. Coming in. Make sure that you like, subscribe, and also share this video. If you guys have been wanting to come on to my live streams, maybe you guys have been like, Matt, I never get a notification when you're live. I never see you when you're live. Press the share button right now, because when you share my content, Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, they know that you like me. And every time that I'm live, you get a little notification that will tell you that I'm live, or you can come and join in these conversations. All right, let's get back into this. Let's talk about ways that you're psychic. So first of all, one of the first ways that you might be psychic is through dreaming. Now, dreams are the number one way that our loved ones in spirit can reach out to us from the other side. And it doesn't have to be an overall message. It might be that all of a sudden you dream of your dad in the dream. And during that dream, he doesn't say anything to you. He doesn't give you a message, but you just see him. You see him, and by the look of him, by the fact that you can see him in that dream, he looks healthy. He looks full of life. He looks so good. You know that he's at peace. That's a psychic visitation. That's mediumship in your dreams. It can also get deeper, where in your dreams, your loved ones can reach you and deliver messages to you. They might tell you about a baby being born. For example, you might see your grandmother on the other side and say, this baby is for you. And she shows you a baby that's about to be born. It might be your son that you didn't know that you were going to get pregnant and have. It could be, your grandson. It could be your granddaughter in the future, because our loved ones in spirit do meet children before they're born here in this world. Now, here's another thing. In your dreams, you might be psychic where you dream something before it happens. Or you dream of all different symbols, all different signs, all different things, and you don't know why you dreamt that. You don't know why it is that came in. And then all of a sudden, something happens in your life and you're like, aha. You know what I'm talking about? Those crazy dreams that seem like they're completely out of control, like they don't make sense. But later on, everything comes together. Well, I'll tell you, I just ran into a woman not too long ago. She was a fan of mine. She was actually out shopping, and she was like, Matt, I got to ask you something that's really bothering me. And I'm like, okay, shoot. So she's like, I've had like these crazy dreams and I don't know what they are. She goes, I wake up being like, what the hell was that about? And then next thing you know, something happens within life. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, well, explain this to me. So she had said to me that there was this situation where she had gone to sleep. And as she was sleeping, she dreamt of her mom, her dad, her sister, her grandmother, all being on this boat and this boat sinking. And literally she's trying to go and save everybody off of this boat, but the boat had sunk, went to the bottom of the sea, and it was just her and it was just her sister. Well, do you know that later on, about a week or so later, there was this huge family feud that had happened. Absolutely huge. And here she was trying to keep everybody together, trying to keep her mom together, her dad, connected, her grandmother connected. She was trying to go and keep all these people being peacemaker together with one another and save the family. But unfortunately, everybody went their separate ways, and they accused her of taking sides, and she ended up just being with her sister. It was just her and her sister. Well, guess what? That was shown to her in this dream through a symbolic way. Souls will sometimes speak to us through symbols. So sometimes when we have these dreams that are like, what the heck is happening? Why was I on that boat? Why was I saving everybody? Why is it that boat was sinking? And then something happens within life. It was Spirit's way of showing her, you're going to feel as though that you're trying to rescue everybody. But at the end of the day, it's just going to be you and your sister. This is how it's going to unfold, and it's okay. There's nothing you can do about it right now. But Spirit was trying to show her, prepare for this, because in the end, it will heal itself, right? But you have to go through this right now. Those are different ways that we can be psychic through our dreams. Now, I want to talk about another one. It's called clairsentience. Now, clairsentience is a form of psychic ability that most people have, but they don't know that they're psychic. Now, it often appears as being empathic. You're empathic. You feel other people. You feel people's pain. You feel people's anger. You feel people's hurt, right? This is called being clairsentient. It's a form of psychic ability. Now, most people push this away because they think that it's a curse. They think, why am I so sensitive? Why is it that when I'm around somebody and they're hurting, maybe they have a headache, I start to get a headache? Why is it when I'm standing next to somebody and they're having a bad day, that energy rubs off on me? Why am I so sensitive? Well, it's because you're feeling on a different level. You're reading energy. You're feeling energy. And what your psychic ability is telling you when you're clairsentient and you're feeling all of this and you're like, what's going on with me? What's going on with me? What's really happening is your angels, your loved ones, and your guides is saying you can control this. So forms of clairsentience is just what, like I said, you're sitting next to somebody who's sick and you start to feel what they're feeling, right? So if they have a stomach ache, you start to get those sympathy pains where you feel that stomach ache. If they're mad and upset, your heart starts to throb. You start feeling mad or upset or angry. You take on those emotions, not because you're empathic, right? That's just a word we give it, but it's a form of psychic ability. Well, you can actually use this gift. You can use this clairsentience to tune into people. When somebody is sick, you can find out what part of their body is wrong with them. When they're mad or they're sad or upset, if you go deeper into that emotion, you can figure out what's causing them to be upset. You can also use it to feel out a situation. Let's say that your sister comes home or your brother comes home and they think they've met their soulmate and they ask you for your advice. You can feel it. Does this person feel like they're going to get married to your sister or your brother? They're going to be part of the family? Or do you feel as though this is just going to be a short connection or a short-lived romance? You can feel it. You can also feel it with yourself. Is this person that you meet going to be your soulmate? Or is this just a short-lived romance? Is this someone that when you first meet them, that someone you can trust? Or someone that's just with you for a short amount of time? Clairsentience. That's your own psychic ability. Now, there's another form of psychic ability that you may have heard. It's called clairvoyance. Now, clairvoyance is when you can actually see things. It's called clairseeing. So clairvoyance is when you can see the dead. Now, when I'm talking about seeing the dead, it's not like on, Hollywood movies where you see, souls walking around. You might see an orb. That's clairvoyance, where all of a sudden you look to your right and you see an orb just floating through the sky or floating through the air. You might see, all of a sudden as you look, a flash of somebody walk by you. You might see, with clairvoyance, all of a sudden, some type of a figure start to appear. That's clairvoyance. Another way that clairvoyance works is through visions, daydreaming when you're awake. You might be sitting at your desk or drinking a coffee at a cafe, and suddenly your mind just goes blank and you're brought somewhere. You see something. You see your sister buying a new house. You see that your sister's going to get married. You see that your mom, isn't being truthful with you. There's something going on within her body. That's clairvoyance, the gift of clear seeing. And then we also have something called claircognizance. Now, claircognizance is called just knowing. So claircognizance is when you just know things. You don't know how you know things. You just do. And many times you blurt things out without even realizing it. So for example, you might be going, this is one of the ways that I figured out about my ability as well. I remember just going and saying things to people, like it would just come out of my mouth. And I'd be like, where did that come from? It was the freakiest thing. Tell me if this has happened to you. I'll never forget. I was in high school at the time, and a friend of mine had gone and was going to these college parties. So we were in senior year, but she was going to this college and whatnot, and partying on the weekends. And she looked at me and she said, "I met somebody," and I said, "Jared," and she goes to me, did I tell you about him? How did you know that name? I'm like, I don't know. It just slipped out. It just came into my mind. I didn't know how I knew it, but it was there, right? That would happen to me all the time where somebody was like, "Matt, I was this person at work is bothering me, blah, 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 blah." And then I'd hear the name William and I'd be like, "Wait, is there a connection to William?" And they're like, "Wait, how did you know that?" I'm like, "I don't know. It just came to me in my head." Right. And I had to realize that this was my psychic ability at work. But then there were these things that I couldn't ignore. This voice from deep down within me. Now, this voice would guide me, and it'd always be there to guide me. When I was going through a really tough time, when I was going through really tough situations, this voice would be in me saying, "It's going to get better. Here's how it's going to get better. It's going to work itself out. Here's how it's going to work itself out." And that little voice would appear in so many different areas of my life. It would appear when I was in danger. That little voice would come in and say, "Be careful, watch out, don't do that." And then not only would I hear it and hear it deep down within me, but I'd start to get feelings. Now, this is starting to get a mixture of the abilities, right? Where your loved ones in spirit, you might be claircognizant, which is that you just know things. You just know that that's not going to work out. But then your clairsentience reminds you that it's not just knowing it, it's feeling it. Spirit likes to communicate using more than one sense. But what I want you to know is that most of us just have one main sense. It's either that we're a clear feeler, clear knower, clairvoyant, or psychic through our dreams. What I can tell you is that no ability is better than one another, right? Think of it just like different languages. We all speak in different languages. Someone speaks Portuguese, Spanish, French, Italian. No language is better than one another. We can still communicate with one another, right? The same way that I'm communicating with you. But what's so beautiful is that we have our own way to communicate. We have our own language that we use as our primary. And if you're bilingual, you use different languages, right, that you mix in. You might speak a little bit of Spanish, a little bit of German, and also, English as well. It's the same thing with psychic ability. It's your own voice. It's your own connection. But it's all through feelings, through senses, and through knowings. Now, this is important because you get this ability from actually the time that you spent in heaven. And what I mean by that is that when you were in heaven, when you were on the other side, souls communicate telepathically to one another. So I know it sounds weird, or at least it sounds weird to me. I always get freaked out over this, hearing it said that way. Look, I'm even getting the chills, like just talking to you. I'm getting I get like the heebie-jeebies. But what I want you to know is that in heaven, souls will communicate with one another just like I'm talking to you, but they'll be able to speak without using their mouths. And they'll hear each other. And it's crazy because like you could have only spoke English here in this world, and your grandmother who had died might be in heaven with you and she only spoke Spanish, but yet you're able to communicate with one another on the other side. She's able to understand you, you're able to understand her, and you're able to hear each other, right? And at first I thought this was so weird. I thought that was so weird on how that happens. And then the other side reminded me, yeah, we do it to you all the time. This is how we communicate with you. You communicate telepathically with us. Is that weird? You feel us, you know things, you sense us, we send you signals. I'm like, no, that isn't weird. Well, you know what? What I want you to know is that these internal conversations are meant for you to recognize. So if you start to recognize whether your clairvoyance is kicking in, clairsentience is kicking in, claircognizance is kicking in, or whether you're a psychic dreamer, these are all ways that your loved ones are trying to reach you. And the more that you learn about it, the more that you'll learn that this is a muscle. This is a muscle that you can exercise and use, and you can call on it. I'm going to give you some examples. Let's say that you're clairsentient. You can feel things, right? You can test this ability. When the phone rings, call upon yourself. What is it that you're feeling? What is it that you're feeling at that moment? Who do you feel is calling you? Do you feel it's going to be good news, bad news? If it's a spam call, test it, right? What you're really trying to do is these conversations. The one thing that's so beautiful is these conversations all happen internally. Whether you're clairvoyant, you're using the gift of visions, right? Mixed with your own thoughts. So for example, claircognizance, the same way that you can dream things up in your head, it's using that ability. Clairsentience is that feeling in your stomach, that bubbly feeling when you're happy and excited, that sour feeling when you're sick over something or upset over something, that rock drop feeling when you're mad, upset, or angry, right? That is clairsentience. We also have clairaudience, where you hear things. Deep down within you, you hear that little voice. Right? So what I want you to know is that these conversations are all happening internally, but there's one thing that we have to learn how to do. We have to learn to shut down our own voice so that we can hear the voice of our angels, our loved ones, and our spirit guides. And guess what? They're all speaking to you. Your angels, your loved ones, and your spirit guides. And here's what I want you to know. You don't have to know who's speaking to you. And what I mean by that is that people get so uptight and so stressed out. They're like, Matt, please help me. Somebody sent me this message. I heard I had to be careful in the car. And then next thing you know, I got in the car and I slowed down. I was almost in an accident. Who sent me that message? Well, it's a combination. Your angels, your guides, and your loved ones, right? They all sending you the same messages. They all want the same good things for you. They want you to live your happiest life, to meet the people that are going to push you forward and to push you towards the future. They want you to live a life that's happy. They want you to meet the teachers in your life. They're going to mentor you and tutor you and bring you to the new places. They want you to meet the challengers within life, the people in life that are really going to kick you. They're really going to bring you down, not because they want to see you go through hell, but they want to see you rise above it. And they're also bringing you towards the people that are going to help you on your path, help you along the way. They're also going to bring you to influencers within your life. These are people who you see that you get aspirations from. You see a successful business person or a famous psychic medium, and you're like, I want to be like that person, right? Well, you came across them for a reason. And all of this is going on through the silent signals and inner nudges and those internal conversations and feelings that they're sending you. But like I said, you can call upon it. When you're stressed out, if there's a situation that you're going through right now, whether it be at home, work, health, whatever it is, take a moment, stop, clear out your thoughts, clear out your head. And what I want you to do is run it by your psychic ability. Ask yourself, how do I feel about this situation? And then think about the situation in full and see what comes to you. Is it that you start to feel something about that situation? Is it that you start to hear something about that situation? Is it something that you start to see something about that situation? You see something unfolding, something that you need to do, something that you missed out on. You hear someone guiding you, telling you it's okay, or not now, or the time is not right, or you feel it's going to go through, it's going to happen. You feel that there's more you need to do, or you feel as though it's not going to come through. It's just wishful thinking, or it's pulling you away from your path. This is how you start to consult your psychic ability. But remember, you have a gift. It's deep within you. It's there, and your loved ones are already using it. So if you've had something weird that has happened, like I said, seeing someone out of the corner of your eye, right? Sensing and feeling someone in the room with you. I'm going to give you some examples of how you may have used your psychic ability. With clairsentience, you might have felt somebody in the room, even though there's no one there. The room is quiet, right? It's just you, but you may have felt someone. You may have felt like you're not alone. It's your psychic ability. It's your loved one showing you that they're there. Clairvoyance might be that you saw something. You saw a flash. You saw an orb. You saw something appear and then it was gone. It's clairvoyance. Or clear knowing is that all of a sudden you might be home and you just know, my dad is with me right at this exact moment. It's like right at that moment you think about him, you have a memory of him, it comes up and you think about him in that house with you. Or if you're a psychic dreamer, that night you might dream of your dad or your mom in that dream. They're just happy. They're just spending time with you. They're just showing you that they're there and supporting you. These are all psychic gifts. Each one is unique. And you can tune in and tap in whenever, wherever you need. And that is the most beautiful thing about psychic ability. What I want you to know is that the reason why I shared this with you is that I want to be like a teacher. The thing is that I don't know where I would be without seeing my loved ones every day, sensing my loved ones every day, hearing messages from my loved ones, and hearing from the spirit world in general. I hear from angels, guides, your loved ones in spirit. I can't tell you how many times your loved ones come to me. That's how I know everything that I know. Every day I'm learning new ways to communicate with them, new ways to speak with them. And if you followed me in the beginning of my journey, all the way up till now, I can tell you I still don't know about the other side, everything there is to know. I'm learning day by day, just like you. But the more that we learn, the more that we share our experiences, and the more that we talk about this communication, the more that we open ourselves up, and the more that we learn also how we can sense and feel our loved ones as well. So what I want you to know is tonight, think about a situation that's bothering you. Think about someone in spirit that you want to connect with. Ask them questions. Think about them in heaven. Think about them in the afterlife. Talk to them either out loud or in your head. And I want you to do this one thing. I want you to see what ability comes to you. Is it clairvoyance that you're seeing them? You see them in your mind's eye? Is it clairsentience that you feel them with you? Or is it that you dream of them that night? Or is it just a clear cognizance where you just know that they're there? Trust it, feel it, and know that your loved ones are with you. What I also want you to know is this, is a lot of people have been asking me, Matt, well, how do I get a reading with you? Well, if you're here on Instagram or Facebook with me, type the word link in the comments below, and I will send you a link to where you can join my next online reading. I'll send you all the information. All the people that you've seen get readings here on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all of these people have not gotten private readings. These are all online group reading events. And what I want you to know is that you can join me as well. So here's what I want you to know is that I can't even believe this. I don't know if you guys have heard this yet, but our little girl, Alexa is pregnant again. And she's about to give birth. Romy Mia, a little girl that we're about to welcome here into this world, is just, a few short moments away from being born. And I'm about to go on paternity leave. But before I go on paternity leave for a little bit, I want to let you guys know that I'm doing 3 online readings. Ready? January 22nd, January 24th, and January 25th. I'm going to be delivering messages from the spirit world right here in this office. And guess what? You can join from anywhere in the United States. anywhere in Canada, anywhere in the world. We've had people attend from Ireland, the UK, Germany, you name it, you can join me. Here's what you need to do. Go to my website, meetmattfrazier.com. That's meetmattfrazier.com. Or type the word link. If you're on Facebook or you're on Instagram, type the word link right now in the comments. Right down here in the comments below, type the word link. And when I see that pop up, I'll know to send you the link. And perfect. I see Barbara just asked for the link. Caroline just asked for the link. Oh my God, I see Tammy just asked for the link. But guys, there's only a few spots left. And like I said, I am almost sold out. I only do these online readings, by the way, in between tour stops. So if you checked my tour schedule, I just started announcing tour dates for this next year, for 2026. I'm so excited. This year I am coming. If you look up, and by the way, the tour dates are up. I'm coming to do a show at Cranston, Rhode Island, my hometown. I'll be doing a show at the Park Theater. We're almost sold out, even though it's in May. We're almost sold out. I'm also coming to Nashua, New Hampshire to give live readings. I'm also coming to New Mexico and North Carolina. And I'm coming to, what else was announced? Red Bank, New Jersey, and Suquamish, Washington, and Washington, D.C., and there's also a Pennsylvania event up there. So many places. Just go to my website, meetmattfrazier.com, to find all of them listed. But like I said, if you want to join me for a live online reading from home, I tried to keep it affordable for everybody. It's just under $30 to attend an online group reading, but I can only read you if you're there. So here's the dates. Thursday, January 22nd, Saturday, January 25th, and Sunday, January 26th. So here's what you need to do. Go to meetmattfrazier.com. That's my website. Click on online readings, or like I said, if you're on Instagram or if you're on Facebook, just type the word link so I know you want the link, and I'll send you the link. And the moment that you're registered, I'm going to send you an email with everything that you need to get online. And don't stress. Everyone's always like, well, Matt, what if I don't know how to get online? You know, what if I don't know how to connect with you? Literally, if you can see me right now, you can join the next online reading. You get an email. It has a link and a password, and it's live on Zoom. You don't need a Zoom subscription. The moment that you get this email, literally, you click on the link, it's going to pop up on your computer, and then boom, you're going to see me just like you're seeing me right now, or your smartphone or your tablet. But the cool part is I see you guys as well, and I also see your loved ones in spirit. So listen, do me a favor. If you want to join my next online reading, go to meetmattfrazier.com, click on online readings. Also, go to meetmattfrazier.com, click on tour dates. Take a look at all the places that I just added for 2026. You're going to be surprised at all the new places that I'm coming. And also, one last thing before I let you go, share this video. Share this video and let me know in the comments that you're here. Say, hey, Matt, I'm here and with you, or hey, Matt, what's up? Just send me a comment, because when you comment, like, and share this post every time I'm live or every time I post a new video, Facebook and YouTube and Instagram will give you more content from me, because I know a lot of you have been saying, Matt, I've only been getting old videos. Matt, I haven't seen any of your new stuff. Well, it's because Facebook doesn't know that you love me. So like, subscribe, share, send a comment, so that this way you get all the new posts that I post, because I'm always posting blogs, inspirational ways to connect with your loved ones, new classes, new tour dates, and so much more. And like I said, I can't wait to see how you're psychic, how you connect with your own psychic ability. And what's really fun is knowing that we all have a gift and seeing how we all use it, what information we get, how we tap in, how we tune in, and how we can connect with spirit ourselves. So that being said, I want to thank you all for being here with me tonight, for being here on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, and remember, leave me a comment and let me know how psychic ability has been working in you. I'll see you soon.